Black History Month is an opportunity to get the contributions of men, women, and boys and girls of African origin out to a much wider public, not only in the United States, but throughout the world, including here in the Czech Republic. I was at the March on Washington in 1963. It was one of the great highlights of that entire era. But it's, I think, very important to say that the March on Washington was just one part of a much longer struggle of African Americans for freedom and dignity and equal opportunity. And by 1963, the movement had extraordinarily begun, and we had demonstrations in the South. I think people of African origin got so fed up with an enormous pattern of discrimination. In the South particularly, they were forced to live in segregated circumstances. The conditions were supposed to be separate but equal, but they were always separate and never equal. And there was constant discrimination, constant humiliation by being forced into the inferior schools, in inferior restaurants, being treated with a total lack of human dignity. And finally, people came to the realization that it was not worth living like that. I believe that the struggle has to continue. At UCLA, for example, we still have an unusually small percentage of African American students, and I think we need to continue to work for that. I still have enormous conversations with my students about the problems that they have with police harassment, racial profiling, so that even though the civil rights movement of the 1960s is over, the broader commitment to human dignity is an ongoing struggle, and I consider myself to be a fundamental part of that. As a teacher, I continue to teach African American history, and I believe that educationally and intellectually, the commitment to learning about African American history is part of the broader struggle for full acceptance and full equality and full dignity. I teach African American studies. It didn't just happen that universities created African American studies. In 1969, as a young faculty member at the University of California at Berkeley, we had to struggle on the streets to create Black studies, to create Chicano studies, to create Asian American studies, to create women's studies. All of these curricular advances came out of struggle. People need to fight in order to move and to create progress.